Hey everyone, I'm Deanna Corby with Deanna Corby Dressage. I'm a dressage trainer, instructor, competition judge, and USDF bronze medalist. Thanks so much for joining me today. And if it is your first day here, be sure to click the subscribe button just below this video. You will be subscribed to my equestrian YouTube channel where I release new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, whether it be rider position tips, horse training tips, or product reviews. And today I am going to share with you my experience as a demonstration rider at a Flying Changes clinic with my trainer Eliza Sydnor. So this happened about a week ago. I took my now 8-year-old Hanoverian Roman to a clinic that was designed more for auditors so that they can learn more about flying changes. And Roman and I represented the horse and rider that where the horse is learning changes and the rider, myself, already knows how to ride flying changes. So we were representing green flying changes on a young horse. So I want to share with you my experience there. I have a little bit of footage from the day. The first part of the day, we met at 9 a.m. and we had breakfast and looked over some handouts, which were really helpful. And we watched videos and saw pictures of flying changes, horses doing flying changes, and some problems that riders might encounter teaching flying changes. And just dissecting what a flying change is and how to make the horse understand, how to make them better, and everything like that. The clinic was for everyone, whether it be beginners or Grand Prix riders, and so we talked a little bit about everything. And it was really helpful. I really enjoyed it. So I want to show you some clips throughout the day of my trainer instructing this clinic, focused completely on flying changes. First, I'll show you a little bit of the lecture that we had. We probably had about 15 auditors there, so it was pretty small, but very beneficial. I really enjoyed it. So I'll show you a little piece of the lecture that we had in the first part of the day.
Then when I actually want to teach the flying change, my prerequisites are, number one, that they have a really quality canter. And of course that's going to vary from horse to horse, but the things that go into that are the rhythm, that we have truly a 3-beat canter like we talked about, the sequence of the footfalls, balance of the horse. Of course, if the horses vary on the forehand, a flying change is going to be quite hard. These are all prerequisites that you want to have before you go to work on changes. Suppleness, both lateral, left and right, and longitudinal over their back. If a horse is very much stiffer in one direction, it's probably going to be hard to do a change. At least it's going to be hard to do one change. Actually, more hard to do the change usually into the more hollow side, because the stiff side is often the strong side. So to jump into the stiff side sometimes works a little bit better, but it's going to be hard to do changes on a horse that's not at least fairly supple. And then straightness. So when we talk about straightness, I mean that every horse in the world, their hips are wider than their shoulders, so naturally they're going to be slightly crooked one way or the other, carrying the haunches a little to the inside. Some horses carry the haunches a little to the outside. And we want to be able to have the ability to straighten them, to bring their front end very slightly in off the track, keep the hind legs right on the track, and align their bodies that way. If we have, I'm sure many of you have ridden young horses that when they go to canter, they're quite crooked in the beginning. You feel like their haunches are on the quarterline and their forehand is on the track. And that's normal. That's just a weakness. And so they need the time to get strong enough to be quite straight before you would ever ask them for a flying change. That the left and the right canters are fairly equal. Many horses have one canter that's significantly weaker than the other. And I would not want to do a change on a horse who has one canter that's very much weaker than the other. Now, many horses will never become 100% equal, just like we will often never become 100% symmetrical. But we want to make sure that the left and the right canter match fairly well. And that's super important when we go down the line into tempi changes, because if you have one lead that's very much stronger, you can imagine that a skillful rider could maybe make 3 tempis and 4 tempis happen, but when you get into 2s and 1s, it could never work if one change is much harder, one lead is much better. And then the last thing I think about is ability, and by that I mean, can I go forward and collect fairly easily, and only to a moderate degree. I don't need to be able to collect back to a pirouette type canter to do a single flying change. The changes, at least in the beginning, do not have a great deal of collection. But if I can't adjust the canter, if I have kind of only one speed at the canter and I can canter or I can gallop, then I'm not ready to do a flying change. I need to have that suppleness of their back longitudinally, that I can collect them a little bit, I can go forward a little bit, they're quick off my leg, they listen to my seat and my half halts. So all of those are prerequisites before I would want to do a change.
So after the lecture, we had lunch, and then it was on to practicing actually ourselves with our own 2 feet, practicing some flying changes, pretending basically that we're horses. And that was really cute. We did, I don't know if you guys, when you were kids, that you pretended that you were a horse. I know I did. So if you're pretending that you're a horse and you're in the canter, you know, you are either on the right lead or the left lead in the canter. And so we did a little skip from the right lead into the left lead on our own 2 feet. And it was really fun. So after we were done pretending that we were horses, it was time to watch the real horses. And the first demo rider and horse, they were demonstrating how to do a flying change, and the rider was on a 22-year-old schoolmaster, but she was just learning how to ride a flying change. So I didn't get any footage of that because I just have footage to show you of myself. But that was really great and helpful for everyone to see, I think. And as she was cooling out, I was warming up. So after warming up in the trot, we moved on to the canter. We did some canter circles. We did some forward and back in the canter, meaning I asked for a canter lengthening or, you know, just bigger steps in the canter, and then brought Roman back to more collected canter. We practiced on the circle, moving his haunches out and moving his haunches in. We practiced counter flexing in the canter. So like if Roman was on the left lead, I would bend him a little bit to the right for a few strides and stuff like that. Just moving his body parts around and making sure he was really on my aids. So I'll show you some of that now.
Right, and on the circle, carry that inside hand. Yeah, exaggerate a little bit how you keep that right rein down. And you keep carrying your inside, your whole inside, your rib cage, your ear, your shoulder, and your hand. Good. Good. Now keep them in that collection. Try your line. Good. Carry the inside. Keep them in this collection. Good. Move them a little bit in. And then change his flexion. And change. Good boy. And to rot. Good. And pat him a lot. Good boy. Good boy. Very good.
So throughout that clip, that is my trainer Eliza giving me feedback on my ride in the clinic, so that the auditors know what exactly is going on. She's kind of talking to them part of the time and then talking to me part of the time, so that I'm getting sort of a lesson, but also the auditors in the clinic are learning about flying changes. So I hope you enjoyed that footage. Roman is, I've had Roman since he was 9 months old, and he just turned 8. So he's still learning the flying changes. They're not perfect, but they're coming along really well. I'm very happy with our progress. And anyway, if you are interested in learning more about flying changes, I'll be sure to put up a card so that you can see a recent Facebook Live discussion that I had with my trainer, Eliza Sydnor. And we dissect what flying changes are, some problems that you might run into while teaching flying changes, and all of that stuff. So I'll be sure and put up that card and that link so that you can click on that video and learn more about flying changes. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me and my boy Roman participate in the Flying Changes Clinic a week ago. If you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up, share it, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you can see new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, horse training tips, rider position tips, and product reviews. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.